Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Melanie Collette, your business diva. And I did not get to my 5 minutes of personal finance at the end of the last show. Larry Tversky, CEO of TimerCap, was just so fantastic. I just had to keep talking to him. We're talking about the failure of the GOP's healthcare bill. To make sure that I gave you guys this very important information about what to do if your identity is stolen. So I figured I'd quickly try to take 5 minutes and explain what you do if something like that happens. The other day, we had body language expert Tracy Brown on, and she talked about how to detect lies and fraud and identity theft. And so I wanted to piggyback, and once that happens to you, and hopefully it never will, it's happened to me, it's not a good time. What do you do? What's your next move after that if you suspect that you have been a victim of identity fraud? So identity theft, I should say. So the first thing you want to do is you want to call one of the major reporting agencies and put a fraud alert on your credit report. Now, who are the three major agencies? I think most people know, but I'm going to say it: Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. You want to call one of them. You can Google them. And you want to tell them that you want to put a fraud alert on your account. And what this will effectively do is anytime new credit is opened up in your name, then you'll be alerted. And 9 times out of 10, they won't even do it until they go through some special approvals. Also, when you do this, this will entitle you to a free credit report. Anytime you put a fraud alert on your record, you're entitled to a free credit report. And actually, in FYI, you're entitled to a free credit report once a year, just in general. But that's the next step. You want to pull your credit report, order a copy of your credit report. The reason that you're going to do this is because you want to review it to make sure everything on it is correct. Make sure there's no erroneous personal information on your credit report, incorrect personal information. You want to check all of that, make sure your name, address, any jobs that you've had, everything that's on your credit report is supposed to be there. The most important thing you want to check is you want to make sure that all of the credit accounts are yours and that there are no new there's no new accounts or no accounts opened up that you didn't in fact open. Now, what do you do if you find that there is an error on a report, or that there is in fact a charge or an account that's open that you didn't make? That's where you go into the dispute stage. And what you're going to do is you're going to dispute the charge, you're going to dispute the account by writing a letter to the major credit agency. And like I said, that's either Experian, TransUnion, or Equifax. You're going to write a letter of dispute. This will trigger, by law, the credit reporting agency is required to send that information to the business so that the business can investigate. The business will then investigate and decide whether or not it was accurate that that wasn't you that opened the account, or that wasn't you that made the charge. If they find that it was not you that made the charge, then they're going to take it off, and they're required to do that. If not, of course, they'll leave everything alone. But that is what they'll do. And the fraud alert will stay on your account for a good while. I forget how many years now it stays on your account, but it'll stay on your account for a good while until that whole situation is resolved. I had somebody steal a checkbook from me when I had an office. I had my checkbook, I thought, brilliantly hidden in the back of my desk drawer, but somebody found it. This was the silly part. She like paid her own bills with it and wrote her own name on my checks. Silly girl. This is before I did online bill pay. But just be careful with your personal information. Don't do things like what I did. This was many moons ago, way before I was the business diva. And I just had my checks in the back of my desk, which apparently is where everyone hides their checks. But so she found it and paid her bills. So, but those are the things that you do if you find yourself as a victim of identity theft. It can be a long and tedious process, but it's worth it. Follow those steps and you will likely get most of those things removed. I I want to thank you so much for listening. I hope you found this information helpful. And listen, have a fantastic weekend. Remember, all of this is important because it's your money.